Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. I am glad to be back after it feels like forever since I've been here, but it's really only been 2 weeks. But Mike Minotti took over for me while I was absent, sing Taylor Swift, and I joined PSVG podcast that week, and it was fun. I like talking with Delvin and Devin.
Mm-hmm. Did
They're
you get the tapes
fun.
from Delvin?
Did I what?
Did you get the tapes from Delvin?
I did not, but it's a work in progress.
That was really funny. I gotta clip that.
I need to join y'all more often. They're really fun.
Thanks. I really enjoy doing that podcast. I enjoy doing this one too, but it's just completely different feel. I've missed you actually. I felt like, yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but I feel like we haven't talked much. It's the downside of me not being on Twitter. If I'm not on Twitter, I'm not. I don't keep up with you much. You're not much in the Discord.
Everything.
We're on different pages.
I haven't really been posting on Twitter much. I'm still like kind of limiting my time because I don't want to see things about Tears of the Kingdom.
That's smart.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I'm just enjoying.
So as I was saying before we hit the start button on this podcast, if you can't tell in the dulcet sound of my voice, I just woke up. And it's so funny because I woke up at 7:55 and I looked over and I grabbed my phone and I was like, oh, I got plenty of time. I can go back to sleep. And I went back to sleep and I had a dream.
9:55.
I had a really crazy dream. I don't want to talk about it, but it was just like a really just bizarre dream, just like silly. And I woke up and it was like 9:56. I was like,
oh no.
I gotta get up. I was up playing Zelda until like 2:45 in the morning.
Nice.
That's why.
You love to see it.
I played to the detriment of my marriage. Yesterday I played Zelda like, I don't know. I guess I got started probably around 3 or 4 in the afternoon and played till almost 3 in the morning. So maybe 10 hours.
I just want to say Tears of the Kingdom is more important than any marriage.
Well, it's fun. My wife, for whatever reason, she just really wanted to, I don't know. She wanted to do something yesterday. She wanted to go out and do something. And I just wasn't feeling it. I went out the day before. I'd gone out last weekend. I was like, look, this is a holiday weekend and I'm just not spending it doing that. Like I
completely agree with you.
I've done plenty. We've done enough and I'm done now. Like I haven't played Zelda. I didn't play Zelda like all week. I hadn't played a lot of video games like all week. Downside of like podcasting when I do, I guess. Not really, but to me anyway. I don't play video games Wednesday. Because all night long I'm doing PSVG, right? I'm getting ready for the show beforehand, and then the show starts, and then we don't get off the show until like midnight or 1.
I get it.
And that's a tough turnaround for me every Thursday. So I go to work Thursday, and I'm tired because I've been up all night. So I usually don't play video games on Thursdays either. So yeah, with all the things I had to do, I just told her, I was like, look, sorry. I was like, how about you go? So that's the downside, right? I think. Is that a major difference between maybe men and women? She doesn't want to go anywhere without me. She wants to share and do everything together.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'll totally just go have a taco by myself.
I don't like doing things by myself.
Like if I want to go out, I can totally like I will go to a movie by myself. If there's just a movie I want to go see.
Not me.
Like the Evil Dead movie that just came out. I went and just saw it by myself because she didn't want to watch that movie. But for her, she's like, I just want to go do something. I'm like, oh, go do it. She's like, I want you to do it with me.
She likes spending time with you.
I know. I know, but Zelda came out.
Why didn't she take one of the kids?
Oh, sore subject.
Oh, sorry.
I think Victoria's a teenager. They can't. They can't exchange pleasantries without it turning into an argument. You can't say good morning to her. Victoria had a pool party yesterday, and I barely even talked to her, and she seemed like in a good mood. And she got ready to go, and Melissa said, "Do you have your bathing suit on under your clothes?" 'Cause she had like shorts and t-shirt on, and she was like, "No." She's like, "So why don't you do that? That way you don't have to change at this other location." And she was like, "No, I don't want to do that." And she's like, "Well, it would make more sense if you did that." She's like, "That way you can go swim." She's like, "It's not one of those kind of parties. We've got games and stuff to do." And it just turned into a whole thing. Like and the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing on the couch. I'm like, "Why are you guys arguing?" There's no reason to be arguing right now.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
that'll get better like a year or two when she's into college.
I hope so. It's tough.
If she moves away for college.
It's tough. Well, she wants to.
Whatever.
She wants to so bad.
That gets better. But I definitely did that as a teenager. Sorry, Mom.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
That'll get better.
So, yeah, anyway. And Jack he's a lot like me. Jack's like, "No, I'm good."
Jack wants to stay home and play Zelda too.
Absolutely. Like, how
Yeah.
about we lock the door?
I think I relate to that more. I would stay in and play Zelda.
Fun times. So anyway, what you playing?
I'm playing Zelda. That's
Of
like
course.
this is going to be the answer for the next few
Months.
Probably.
I'm planning on it. Okay. Do you feel like people are ready to move on?
What do you mean move on?
I have felt maybe since like the past week in just general, browsing, interneting, Reddit and stuff. Like this game feels like it's been devoured. This game has been consumed. And I'm wondering how long it'll stick with folks, especially as
Really?
Diablo and Street Fighter. Like I'm thinking people are like, all right, I've played enough, and they're just gonna move on. Whereas I am
different universe.
I am taking my time. I'm doing the things that I want to do. Like I'm not in any rush. And we'll talk about it, but I'm, so like I'm planning on being here for like I have scheduled this out. Like I'm planning on staying here for a bit.
Both. Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I maybe I'm not on that side of the universe that you're seeing. When I do go on social media and stuff, I'm seeing people mostly posting like all their wild contraptions and stuff that they're making, like blowing my mind completely what people are making. Like
some of them are
it's
getting
already
really
insane. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like in a few months, years from now.
Somebody built a torture chamber. Have you seen one of those?
No, I didn't see that.
They built a box that has springs on the inside with spike balls on it. And they have some sort of mechanism or switch, I guess, to reset the springs. And they just drop the box on top of the Lionel and they get on the control thing and just spring box balls and stab them to death.
Genius.
It is. I was like, this is insane. Every day when I'm scrolling TikTok, I come across something I don't think I could have ever imagined. I'm like, this is incredible.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I've been seeing wild stuff. I didn't see that, but yeah, people are going to come up with the most wild things for this, I'm sure. But no, I don't think, like, I know a couple people who have rolled credits by now, but they said that they still have a ton of stuff that they want to do. But no, from what I've been seeing, I don't think people are ready to move on. And I know that I'm more on like the Nintendo side of the world. Like you kind of see the other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's more stuff to do than in Breath of the Wild, and that game lasted a long time.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's probably that I'm not as into like very Nintendo centric spaces or followings, I think, as you are. So maybe my impression is more from just like casuals. It just seems like so many people have gotten so much done already. I'm just like, wow, how did they do this all? And then as other games come out, I'm interested in just seeing how it goes.
I feel like I've played so much of this game and I haven't done anything yet. Like, I mean, I have, but I feel like for the number of hours that I put in it so far, I should have a lot more done. Can I talk about like where I'm at?
Yeah.
So I have done 2 of the dungeons.
Same.
I did my second one yesterday. I did Rito first, and then I just did the Zora one.
Me too.
Oh my god, no way. I feel like I thought like most people would do the Rito, like most people are doing the Rito one first, and then I feel like most people go towards the fire, the
That's what Jack did.
Volcano one. Like I feel like that's what the game leads you towards, but like now I'm finding more and more people are doing the Zora one second, and I feel like that's the way to go. I wasn't planning on it, but I ended up in the Zora area, and I'm like, they need help. I should help them.
That's basically what happened to me. Like I was I don't want to interrupt you, but I was caving. Like I started to get on another grind, and it led me there. And I was like, well, I'm already here. So I just kind of, that's exactly where I just kind of strolled on in. I was like, well, let's go ahead and get this done.
Yeah. I have only done 1 of the memories so far. I like feel like I didn't even know about that until relatively late. Like I saw other people talking about it. I'm like, what do you mean memories? Like,
did you just walk past that platform with Impa?
Impa? Yes, yeah, I guess I did.
Yeah, Jack had to show me because I
had to go out of my way to find her after people were talking about it. And then I did it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like I want to do more of these because that cutscene was so cool.
Yeah, I did that too. I've gotten 4. I wanted to. I was telling myself, I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down and do these memories. Like that's the thing is I keep wrestling with like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do another dungeon? Do I want to get these memories?
It's so hard to decide.
So I was planning on doing the memories, and then I just didn't get a chance to play. Then I was going to do the dungeon, and then I was scrolling TikTok and I saw this awesome armor set. I was like, dude, that is fucking cool. Like I've got to get that.
Which one?
I don't know what it's called.
What does it look like?
You get it from Colton.
Oh, Colton.
And the cool thing about it is it has rupee padding. Ooh. So if you get hit, it just takes your rupees instead of your hearts at first.
Oh no.
You know what that?
No. Are you kidding me?
But it looks rad. It's blue and it looks like a samurai outfit. And
hey, that kind of existed in Twilight Princess.
That's what Jack said. Yeah. Now I hadn't unlocked the headdress because the way you got to get it is you got to get the bubble gems that you get from the caves.
Oh, is that what you do with those?
Yeah, and you got to trade them. You can trade them to Colton, and he gives you really cool stuff. Not just that, he gives you masks and like Lionel horns and like all kinds of like rare stuff that you can use. So it's like a trading sequence. You've got to have so many to get this armor. And I was trying to get the armor. That's what I spent last night. I was just doing caves. I was just caving, getting bubble gems. And I got like 20 of them, 24 maybe. And I got the armor. I got the legs and I got the head, or I got the body. But then I didn't get the head. I tried doing like 1 or 2 more. And I was like, how many more is this going to take? And apparently to complete the set, it is going to take like 20 more. Like, I'm not even close. I was like, oh, I don't know if I have this in me. Like,
I wonder how many, if there are more bubble gems than there are things that you can spend on, or like if you need to find every single one to get all of his outfits.
That's a good question. I didn't continue watching the guide that far. I just found out how many I needed, and I was like, that's a lot. Because it took me hours to get like the 20.
I'm sure.
It took forever. That's a slow grind, you know, like that's not as instantly rewarding as the shrines or the Zonite or any of that. So yeah, I don't know. I slowed down. I was like, well, I got the armor, like I still got the cool look, and if you have the fierce deity head, like it kind of matches. So I was like, this looks pretty cool. I posted screenshots of it in our spoiler channel. And and then I was in the Zorland when I decided to quit. And that's when I started going to I was like, well, let's just do the dungeon now.
Gotcha. What do you think about the dungeons?
Typically the climb or the travel up is like probably like the most rewarding part of the experience. Where so the Zelda one, I just kind of broke. So you get up there, and I didn't like this anti-gravity thing that they got going on where you got to like float
Really?
around.
I thought that was cool.
And like the bubbles and stuff. So I started, like, you start your ascent, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I can fly. So I just dropped a bike down and flew up there. I was just like,
you totally cheated it.
It was just like, it was one of those things that I was thinking of, because I did the same thing before you ascend to the temple. You descend into an underground area, and you can't climb anything in there. You have to like do this water temple shit where you're raising the water levels, right?
Oh, that I completely cheated that part.
Yeah, I was like, I can fly. I have flying machines at my disposal.
I put a rocket on my shield and like zipped up and
See?
glided to the center.
It's no different. But yeah, I dropped an air bike at the bottom of the temple and just flew up there.
Wait, what's an air bike?
I feel like this was a common one. But what you do is you get two fans and you put them on, you attach them to a control stick at a certain kind of 45-degree angle. It's a little weird how you got to set it up, but basically what it lets you do is, for the least amount of resources, like, you just create like a flying motorcycle. And that's how I've been doing. I picked that up off of TikTok that was talking about the depths when I was really hard on my Zonite grind. I was trying to grind batteries. I've got 9 batteries. So I'm like killing it over there in this stuff.
Are you serious?
So I can drop this bike anywhere and just fly for a while. So yeah, and I felt so stupid because I climbed the first platform. And then I was sitting there and I just kind of looked up.
Like, why am I doing this?
I was remembering the Rito one. And I just looked up and I was like, man, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I can fly at any moment.
That's so funny.
So then, yeah, I dropped that and I just zipped all the way up there.
That's funny.
Which, I'm not sure if I just did something wrong, but I flew up there and then I walked up to do the shrine and everything. And I was messing with puzzles and I was like, something's not right. I can't activate anything. And apparently I had flown too far. I had zipped by Zidon, like at the base. You got to have that talk. So I had to like come back down a level.
I don't think the game expects you to have so many batteries by that point.
I don't think so either. Yeah, no. And that's the thing with my little grindy nature and like, enjoyment of doing this. The first thing I did was shrines. The second thing I did was batteries. I started unlocking the depths. I just started doing this cave thing. It dawned on me earlier this week, or the last time I played before last night, I hadn't unlocked the Purapad, the travel medallion, the shrine center.
I did all that.
So I went back. I did that like 50 hours in. And I was like, let's go get Robbie's thing. And then, yeah, here I am at the temple. I'm like, I don't know, 70 hours into the game. And I've got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so flying. It doesn't break the game.
I remember that one.
It doesn't break the game, but I mean, I definitely think it rewards you because, I mean, even as me doing it, I still started climbing platforms because it's like in our nature, right? We're just conditioned to do it. It just took me being lazy and tired at 2 a.m. I was like, I don't have to do this.
That's fair. As for the dungeons themselves, I feel like I got way too sucked into the narrative that the dungeons are huge and they're so different than the Divine Beasts, but I don't really feel that way. I feel like they
agree
are
with you.
Slightly better than the Divine Beasts. Like, very
I think you could argue
better.
the Divine Beasts felt more like temples than these.
I don't think so.
So far, you're just unlocking some doors.
I don't like the moving parts of the Divine Beast. I think that part's annoying. Yeah, it's really just like find like some buttons and hit them, and
I agree with you, but the moving parts kind of made it feel dungeon-ish, right? There's like this bigger thing afoot that's happening. I would agree that I like the temples more because of the ascents, because of like I mean, it's really part
I
of the
do
fun.
like the ascent to it better. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wind Temple was epic.
I felt like taking down the Divine Beast in Breath of the Wild was very much the same every time.
Yeah.
Whereas this ascent, and even just like the lead up to it, like, you know, small spoilers here for the Zora one, but like having to go and get the scales from the king and having to like go up to the Skybird or whatever they called it and kind of solving that puzzle, like all of that lead up to it was really fun. Getting the Zora armor, things like that. Like I feel like there was prerequisites to like even getting there that was enjoyable. And then even though like the dungeon itself, like it wasn't too hard, like you get through it pretty quickly. I feel like the developer interview before the game came out was like kind of a lie when they said the dungeons are huge. Like I would not describe them as huge at all. They take me like barely an hour to get through the whole thing. But the boss fights, I have thoroughly enjoyed both of the boss fights so far.
Yeah.
Like that's what I missed. I did not like the Divine Beast boss fights. They were boring. You just whack them. Like they all look the same. I don't remember the difference between them all. Whereas these boss fights, like they'll stick with me. I enjoy them.
I agree. Yeah. I still remember Thunderblight Ganon.
Thunderblight. Well, just because it was annoying.
Yeah, because it was.
I don't think it was particularly well designed.
No, these actually make you put to use your new ability, as old bosses should, as kind of tradition for the franchise. Yeah.
So that's what I did, and today I'm gonna go try to find some more of the memories. I want to get them in order. I've already been to the Forgotten Temple to find out the order of them. And I feel like they're not like hard to find. Like they're pretty evident on the map. Like from up high, like there's not like a whole lot of searching involved. But I really liked the first memory, so I feel like I want to dive into that and like figure out more of the story here. So
I've gotten 3 or 4 of them. I think one of them was really epic. But I'm just doing them as I come across. Right, as I'm zipping around the world, I'm like, oh, there's one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
think this will help me finish filling out the map because I only have a couple more sky towers to get.
I think that might be my next thing. Now that I've done another dungeon, and maybe like, all right, let's grind out some of these memories. And then what I was going to say is, I feel like now I've got like a really firm grasp of the game, like the world and all of its systems. Like I feel really kind of at home, feeling powerful, feel strong, feeling I can exploit stuff, I've got a handle on like elemental weaknesses, good and bad, and like kind of how to do that stuff. So now I feel like maybe now I'll start turning my attention back towards more side quests, the other dungeons, the memories, and kind of like, let's start to progress forward now. Maybe I can kind of chill out on the grinding a little bit.
I'm finding the side quest stuff to be pretty enjoyable this time around. I feel like a lot of the side quest stuff in Breath of the Wild was very filler or like fetch questy. I like the stuff in this one. Like, have you done the mayor thing in Hateno Village yet?
No, that's on my mind. I like how I was going to say, it seems like a lot of the side quests are tied to, and it's not just Hateno, there are other villages. A lot of them are tied to opening up shops or opening up products or opening up like some sort of extra ability, in addition to like general story content, which is nice.
Yeah. Have you been to Tarrytown yet?
Yeah, that's where I dropped
pretty cool to see how
that's where I dropped my travel medallion.
Oh, that's a good place for it.
Because the guy there will detach fused items together. So if you've got things that are fused, like let's say your shield is about to bust and you've got it fused with like a ruby or something, you can go there, you can pay $20 and they'll detach them.
Wow. And you get to keep the material.
You get to pick them back up.
I didn't know that.
So I was like, this is where my travel medallion's going.
Do you
I'll
have
be
to
coming
do
back
anything
here
to
often.
unlock that
No, he's just a shop. He's just there.
for 20 rupees?
Yeah, 20.
That's really good because I have like
Mhm.
some diamonds and stuff fused to it. Like I want to save that because there's like some really good materials. Like I don't want to have to fight like a boss bokoblin, like a black boss bokoblin for like a really good material to fuse with my sword and then lose it. Like,
Yep, exactly.
oh, that's so good. Oh
And
my
he
gosh.
said, and I'm a little fuzzy on this because I did it last week. I haven't gone back since, but he said that he'll defuse them and make your items like new. So my assumption is that like when you pick them back up, like if your sword's about to break, it'll restore your sword. But I feel like
so there is weapon repairing in this.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I feel like I did it with a shield and my shield was still about to break.
Yeah.
So I'm not
okay.
I
Well,
may
he
not
might mean
have that right.
the material.
It might, yeah, I think it might be just mean the material.
Which to me, I would rather have the material that I fused with because
Yeah,
some of those
of
are
course.
really hard to get.
So my thing, I need to I don't want to go on another like grind loop right at the moment, but I need more shield slots.
Yeah.
I'm only carrying like 5 shields at the moment, and I feel like I'm like short 2 or 3. Like I need at least like 7.
I will say that every time I come across a Korok that needs help getting to his friend, I like groan and don't want to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some
Like-
of them are really fun. I did one.
Really?
I took a video of it. I called a Link, Big Rig Link, because I basically built like a monster truck and strapped this dude to it and was just rolling down the river. I was like, they should just have like some Smoking the Bandit music come in right now. You know, like this is insane. It is insane for what I grew up knowing about this franchise. There's so many times in this game where I'm like, what the hell's that? What are we doing? We're flying helicopters now? Like, what is happening? There are those moments. I know it feels at home, but like it's still every now and again, it'll zip me back, and I'm thinking a hook shot and ocarina, and I'm like, what is happening? Like this is insane.
What do you think if we could show this game to ourselves,
our younger
10,
selves,
15, 20 years ago?
Blow your mind.
God.
From
It
Wind
wouldn't even
Waker?
look like I wouldn't even think it's a Zelda game.
Exactly. But it feels right at home.
It does.
So I enjoyed that one. I don't do them all. I haven't been doing enough of them, which is why I need more shield slots.
Yeah.
But I did see one on TikTok. Somebody made like basically like a water wheel that they dropped into like off a dock and under a waterfall so that it would spin.
Ooh.
And then they attach Koroks to the ends of each of the pillars. Just had Koroks. They were like waterboarding Koroks in a circle.
That's horrible.
And the TikToks, it was like, tell me where the seeds are. I wonder, I would love to ask
Where do people come up with
Anuma if they expected people to do this to Koroks. Like, I would love to know what the, like, it's very like, like a simulator godlike situation to be in. Here they've designed all these Korok puzzles and everything to help these Koroks. And then you release it to your players, and like you, the creator, look down, and then you see what your players are doing to it. I wonder if they're like, "Oh yeah, we knew they were going to do that." If they're like, "What are they doing? Why?"
I will say that I've seen some interviews from developers of other games, like not Zelda, but just in awe of the physics engine that Nintendo has created with this and how things like. It's black magic to these developers, saying like, do you know how much work needed to go into this for all of these items to be interacting with each other in the way that they do, with thousands of combinations of things, like making bridges that shouldn't work, or making things that just like they don't know how Nintendo got this to work.
I agree. CPU alone, like the sheer amount of functions and solutions that the CPU is having to process just doesn't seem like it would be. I mean, it would seem like it would be hard to pull something like this off on a game running on my PC, let alone a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of magical. The one for me is Ascend. I'm very impressed with Rewind, because Rewind basically has a running clock of every movable item in the game at all times, which I'm
Mhm.
like, that's insane. And I'm not sure how they're doing
Yeah.
that. But also with Rewind, I do kind of see, like, or at least I think I kind of see the Matrix, because every time you activate that thing, like the entire game freezes. So like I see like memory being saved where they can, but Ascend is the one. Not because what they're doing is hard to do, because they have already established that they've got a map that has an overworld, an underworld, and a surface. So they have the ability to account for you on a map. I look at Ascend kind of like fast travel, right? You say, I want to fast travel here, and you kind of get a load screen to get you there. And Ascend is
It
kind
does
of
feel
the
like a load
same way.
screen.
But the
Yeah.
thing with Ascend that feels game breaking to me is how you can use it to escape or to climb so many scenarios that the developer, have to take into account. They have to account that for any moment, you can just zip through the ceiling and go somewhere else. That feels game breaking. Like the fact that it just
Mhm.
works. When I first saw Ascend, I honestly, in the demonstration, they showed it like, didn't they show it like in a cave? Like they walked into a cave and then they, zipped through the floor. I thought that it would be very limited to like maybe just the cave, but it's not. You
It's
can literally
anywhere.
do it anywhere there's like a ceiling next to you.
You can do it in shrines,
Exactly. That's the part that like, I'm like, how did they account for this all the time?
inside houses
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get up on the roof. Like, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, that's the one that really gets me. And some of these caves, by the way, I went cave diving. I'm not sure how many caves you've gone into. When my first 60 hours, I wasn't doing a whole lot until I started to get on this bubble gym shrine grind. Some of these caves are detailed, like
Mhm.
way more than like just the first couple caves off of the first tower, that you see kind of with the first cherry blossom tree. Some of these caves have multiple levels to them. You'll
Mhm.
drop through multiple holes in the floor. I have found caves where to find the frog to get the bubble gem, I've had to ascend into hidden chambers
Mhm.
that like just weren't even there. Like it was like, where is this guy? And it's like, oh, you got to go here and just zip up, and like there's stuff like that inside of these caves that are really, really cool. So
There's two things that I want to bring up. One of them is related to caves. Have you done the one where you go to the emergency shelter in Lookout Landing and there's like a passageway that
mhm.
is really long, like underneath, and then you get all of the Hylian armor from that? That was so cool.
Yep. The
It
thing about
like never ended.
the caves they feel like their own, like we talked about, we have the surface, we have the sky, and we have the depths. The caves are kind of like its own thing.
It's like
to me.
another level.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's like its own
Like
other
that's
level.
not the underground, but it could
Yeah.
have been.
And I like that we can highlight like the mist trails for them. I wish there was a better way of mapping them. It is difficult because the mist doesn't stay there forever. So I'm like I feel like I had to be consciously caving. Like very rarely I just come across a cave and just be like, I'm going to do a cave.
Right.
Right. Like I have to be consciously looking for it and actively trying. Now, I did a bunch of caves in Farron Woods, and for you and anybody else that was really digging the Zonite stuff or the Zonite stuff leading into the game and stuff, you should go there because those caves are a
I
little
haven't
different.
been there.
Their caves have a lot of like Zonite puzzles and stuff in them. You have to unlock doors and switches and build things. They're more shrine-like than just like the rest that are just kind of caves.
I haven't been down to that. This game is so dense with things to do. Like I can't. Like I want to do so many things, but like
Right.
I can't.
Which is why I'm not rushing
everything.
it. That's why I'm not rushing. I'm like, but I'm trying to stay focused, right? Like focus
it's
on a
hard.
task
It's hard.
and do that.
I don't stay focused. I start to do something, and then 5 other things happen, and then I just didn't do the thing.
Which is why
the
I
other
have
thing
to
that
go in with a
I
plan.
wanted to say that was really cool. I don't know if you probably have with the number of hours you played so far, but one of the coolest things that I've done is I found a group of Hylian soldiers like running, and I'm like, where are they going? And they said, we found this monster den. We're going to go raid into it and destroy the monsters.
Wow.
Come join us.
I didn't
Have you
see
done
that.
one of those yet?
No.
And we went into this cave where there was it was like a monster den, and we all worked together. There was like a progress bar of like,
Oh, that's awesome.
defeating the monsters in this cave, and they helped. I did most of the work, but they helped, and it was going to be like fighting alongside the soldiers.
Is that like the pirate thing?
I haven't done the pirate thing yet, so I don't know.
I didn't do it either. I talked to the people that started it, but I was on my way to the research lab and I was like, I'll come back.
Yeah, Hyrule Knight in chat says it's very Age of Calamity like, and it did kind of feel like that, where I was fighting alongside them in real time, and then when it was all finished, they rewarded me for my help, and it was just like so cool.
It sounds cool. I mean, it sounds cool. Yeah,
you'll like it when you do that.
Yeah,
it's like a side quest, I guess. But
that'll be the stuff I'll start to do as I start to turn more story focused. I'll be less fast traveling, gliding, and flying, and more on the ground and in towns and stuff. And I'll start to find more of that.
Yeah, I feel like this, and I said this last time. The first show that we did when the game came out, where we hadn't played that much yet, but it still very much feels like this Hyrule is alive and populated, and it's not just me against the wild. It's people are here and helping, and people aren't just limited to the towns. And I feel like anytime in Breath of the Wild when I came across somebody on a path, it was like, okay, that's a Yiga person in disguise, I just will ignore them.
I still found a few of those.
I have too, but this time it feels more like, well, wait, there's people here, they're actually doing something.
Oh no, you're right.
Help them or interact with them.
There are more people outside of the towns for sure.
Yeah, that aren't Yiga.
I love the Yiga folks.
They're funny.
Every time I pass one out in the open, they're so corny. And they're like, "Aha, I got you." I'm like, "Did you? But did you though?" It's so good. I enjoy it.
Have you found any of them in the depths yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've unlocked about half of the map in the depths. Just doing
much as you've played and have only done half of the depths.
Yeah, it really is half. It's like the left half of the map, and there's like a whole right half that I haven't really gotten to, because I
love being down there.
I unlocked the map, and then I basically set up like a trade route. Like I set up like a loop where I would hit like this mine, and then I'd hit this camp, and then I'd hit this Frox, and then I'd hit this other mine, and I hit this other camp, and I hit this Frox. And when I did it all, I would have like 400 Zonite, and then I would go turn it in and get more batteries. And like every
no wonder you have
like every blood moon, I would just hit this loop on my little air bike. I just did it so many times. I just there to zip around. Once I got my when I first, the depths are probably my favorite thing about the game if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
And when I first went down with the Robbie, and even just on my own, it felt very daunting. It was like very intimidating. Everything's the black, you can't see. I don't even know what direction I'm supposed to go in. And I wasn't aware or equipped with like the game systems to really figure out how to exploit that. And with like the air bike, and I got like this armor that glows, like as I learned more about it.
That's my favorite armor set.
Now I'm just like king of the depths. Like I'm like, I've got Majora's Mask. I'm just like, F these guys. Like, this is my home now. Because like I have my air bike, and I've got the big bloom plant on both sides of it. So I have like these giant headlights, and I glow, and I can just go in. I don't even need light roots. I'm like, we'll do them later. It was so funny. As the first time I was like, I'm dying to find a light route, and now I'll just go by. I'm like, I don't have time to stop.
Cool.
I don't have time to stop, but I do love it. After so many hours though of grinding out the batteries, I just kind of got bored and want to do something else. So I just I left, and I'll come back later when I have more story.
Plenty of other stuff to do.
But yeah, you were right. The Frox is easy. That was a piece of cake, and that's actually, those are the best way to farm Zonite, because they usually like are right next to a stash of it, like that gives you more than like even the mines have. So I marked, I think 4 of them on my little loop. And
they probably respawn with the blood moon, right?
Yeah. So every blood moon, I would just go back and hit my loop. Now, the cool thing about the depths, I didn't know 2 things until I talked to you on the podcast. One, that it was a complete mirror for the top. I kind of got that map wise, but I didn't understand it like river wise. And that's a big thing because the rivers are like Everest. They're like the tallest, like that. The depths are very landlocked. And if you don't have a map and you're in the dark and you're trying to figure out which way to go, that was like the daunting part of me. I was like, why can't I climb over there or get around? Like you can't. Like they're landlocked off. You've got to go like in certain, you have to go around like certain mountain ranges.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if you don't have the tiers, or if you don't have the light routes unlocked. You can't see, right? You can't see on the map where you need to
You
go.
could be going in one direction and have it not work out.
So I had a lot of that going on. And then 2, the shrines. When you were like, every shrine is where a light route is. So you know what I started doing? I went into my map and I just started marking them off.
Yep.
Like every time I hit a shrine, I just dropped a marker. I was like, there's a light route here.
Because
the
marker goes to every light,
and when I was
layer up the map.
And when I was looking down at the light route map, if I had a light route but I didn't have a shrine, I just went up and I started making, again, I always bring this up because Jeff and Mike for years have made fun of Ubisoft for making map games. Like, this is the most map game that has ever been made. I'm literally building a map.
What's wrong with map games?
I love map. That's the point that I
games.
love map games. That's why I always bring it up, because I think I've been saying this over the years whenever we get asked, like your favorite game, your favorite genre, or anything. I think I've well established on PSVG that if I had to pick like my favorite game, that's my genre. My favorite game is map game. I love Assassin's Creed. I love Far Cry. I love Zelda. I love Grand Theft Auto, Skyrim. I love map games. Like this is my shit. And I'm literally building. I laugh every time. I just think of Mike.
Like Metroid?
A little bit, not as much as most people, but yeah, I do like Metroid. That's probably my favorite part of Metroid is figuring out where to go and doing all that. But yeah, I'm literally there charting the map. So if I had a screenshot of my map right now, that other half of the map that I haven't unlocked, I probably have like 30 shrines over there, like all these icons. I'm like, I'll just go there and go there and go there. So
I think the map would be very intimidating if I hadn't played Breath of the Wild.
I will tell you, it's getting there already with the glyphs and stuff. Like, I desperately want to be able to hide icons, like certain types of icons. I was going to ask
if you can like toggle the glyphs off, because I only have one so far, and like it blows up to like a good portion of the map.
Not that I'm aware of. I was looking for it last night. I was like just looking around. I was like, this is getting really hard to read, because I've got pins that I'm dropping. I've got icons for stuff. I've got all of the shrine icons. I've got the tower icons. I've got a glyph icon. I'm like, oh my God, this is a mess.
It would be nice to maybe turn everything off and just see the shrines, or just, to be able to say what you want displayed.
Yeah,
that would be a good quality of life thing.
It would be nice. Like you could like show me all shrines that I haven't completed yet.
Well, it's not going to show you. Oh, like haven't completed, but you've unlocked.
Yeah. It'd be nice. I really want something that'll just chart the caves for me. Like I want to find something, a device or a person that'll be like, here are all the caves. So I don't have to do this light route thing and then like fly down and try to figure.
That's what the thing is for.
I know, but it's temporary.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Go do it again.
And a lot of them are far off. Like you can't really see them. Like they may be a ways away.
There's a cherry blossom in every region.
Right. And I've got I think I've got all the cherry blossoms mapped. What I'm saying is I'll do the cherry blossom, and then another thing is it'll show you the light trails for caves you've already done.
Yeah, that's a mistake. That shouldn't be a thing.
Because I'll drop a pin and go to it. I'm like, oh, I've already been here.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Yeah, like there's things like that. I'd like to be able to. I want to grind that out faster and better than I currently am able to.
I get that. Anything else about Tears of the Kingdom for now?
I don't think so, but I just want to say that I'm really happy we had this chat. I haven't had a chance to gush about Zelda in a minute, and it's different with Dev and Delvin, because they're like, we really like it, it's cool, and I'm still Dev hasn't done anything. I'm pretty sure he has not beat that dungeon. He owes me $10. And it's different. I mean, here I am just playing. It's like just me and Jack, and obviously we have our spoiler chat where I'm sharing stuff with Steve and other folks, and that's a lot of fun too. But I still feel like a lot of folks they don't want to know yet. They're like, don't
Yeah.
tell me, like it's still kind
Mhm.
of in that phase of the game, which is crazy because I've played a lot of we've both played a lot of the game already. So I'm like jonesing to talk about it to people. I'm like, have you done this? Have you done? Yeah, that's the best thing about Breath of the Wild. Did
I
you
feel
know
like
that I did XYZ?
we're kind of at the same point dungeon and story wise, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. I did see a TikTok. It was something that was like what we're supposed to be doing, and it's like saving Zelda and all that, and then like what we're actually doing, and it's just like shrines and
Everything
like getting
else.
gear and so I was like, this is totally me.
Yeah.
And there was a South Park one. Are you familiar with the South Park episode where they do World of Warcraft?
Yes. I
So
think
they
so.
they play the game for hundreds of hours and all
Yeah.
that and do all this stuff, and they're like, oh, so what do we do now? He's like, what do you mean what do we do now? Now we play the game. Like that's exactly how I feel. All right, I've got all my shields, I've got all my batteries, got all my hearts. What do we do now? Now we play.
Basically. Yeah, I don't want to rush through it. I know that I have that Twinfinite review that's they're going to be knocking on my door soon asking for it, but I'm taking my time. I don't care.
Yeah.
My next step is going to be those memories, and then I want to do the fire temple next. Like, will be the next temple that I do.
I might match you. I'm still not. I waffle. I'll be like, yeah, I want to do all the memories, and I'll get in the mood to do something else, and I will do no.
Yeah,
memories.
we'll see if that actually happens.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll match you. I'm not sure.
I have off tomorrow from work, so I plan to play quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Shall we jump into the news from this week?
Let's do it.
After an hour of talking about Zelda.
Good stuff.
We only have one big headline story. I think this
Really?
is interesting. Yeah. I'm kind of interested in seeing how this develops, actually. So if some of you remember a while back, Dolphin, the emulator for GameCube and Wii games, I think it's just GameCube actually, popped up coming soon on Steam, which is interesting because you don't too often see emulators pop up on Steam. Took a little while, but Nintendo has finally issued a DMCA against them. The release that was scheduled for Q2 2023 has now been indefinitely postponed. We were notified by Valve that Nintendo has issued a DMCA, has removed Dolphin from the Steam page until the matter has been settled. They said, we are currently investigating our options and will have a more in-depth response in the near future. We appreciate your patience in the meantime. A data miner and Nintendo Life user Luigi Blood revealed that there is a Wii common key in the source code of Dolphin emulator. Luigi Blood says, quoting the DMCA, the Dolphin emulator operates by incorporating these cryptographic keys without Nintendo's authorization and decrypting the ROMs at or immediately before runtime. This is objectively true. Just check the Wii common key is in the emulator source code. So I think that's the part that Nintendo has a problem with. And
for sure.
I'm like honestly a little bit shocked that Nintendo didn't know that Dolphin was doing this before now.
Okay. I don't think this is the issue that Nintendo has. I think this is the issue that Nintendo has found to take action. I think they just don't like people emulating their games at all. But if they don't have no grounds to move, they don't have one. I think they were just like looking through it and they were like, aha, now we've got you.
We found something we can get.
Because if they're using their keys, I mean, that's copyright.
Yeah.
I would say what surprised me is I'm surprised they only filed the DMCA takedown and not an actual lawsuit.
So far.
I'm surprised they didn't come with just come stronger from the start. It may be one of those things where Nintendo was fine with Dolphin doing their thing as long as it was like obscure.
Stay in your lane. Yeah.
But you're putting it on Steam, which is opening up to a bigger, like that. Maybe that's too much for them.
I think so. And I think Dolphin did it because they saw RetroArch get away with it. That's on Steam, the RetroArch emulator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. But it doesn't do GameCube and Wii stuff.
No, it doesn't. So I think they were just kind of like pushing to see like how far they could go kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been their mistake. And I would hate to see Dolphin go away because it's a really good emulator.
Download it before it's too late.
It's a really good emulator.
I got 13 days before my ally gets here, so I need. Hold on, Dolphin.
I'm sure there will still be ways to get it, but
Sure.
yeah, it's a good emulator. I think they
Mhm.
flew too close to the sun with this one, but I mean, Nintendo's in their right to do that.
I'm surprised that they didn't like make their own keys. Maybe daunting and too hard, but I'm surprised that Dolphin, I would assume knowingly, just has this in there. Because a lot of times with emulation and stuff, you re-engineer, you reverse engineer everything.
I think other emulators have
on your
done their
own.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a part of it. That's why it takes so long, because you can't use the source code, so you have to remake your own source code.
Mhm.
And yeah, it seems like maybe they took a shortcut. And you definitely don't want legal notices coming to you from Nintendo. That's not good. It's not a good sign. They usually win.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a high batting percentage, the Nintendo lawyers. So,
They have the money to have the best lawyers.
yeah.
And that seems like a pretty easy case too, that they're using their.
And it's not like it's new. I would imagine it's one of those things where I would imagine Nintendo has known this for long and they just acted because of Steam, or because of Steam, they looked into it and now they know. I still think, I feel like Steam is the linchpin. That's the crux of the issue, when Nintendo was like, no. We're not going to empower Valve to sell 8 million Steam Decks for everybody to play GameCube games on it. You're right.
That's true.
Like, that touches their business, even in a minimal way. As I always reiterate on these podcasts, the companies, it's on them to defend themselves.
Mhm.
Like, they have to defend their copyright. They have to defend their patents. That's why when you see what you feel like might be frivolous lawsuits about stuff that they have to, because if they,
Right.
it sets precedent, right? If they don't, and then somebody else comes or something else happens 20 years from now that actually eats into their revenue, it's harder to defend. So,
and I see a lot of people saying like, "Oh, this means that Nintendo's planning on putting GameCube games on the Switch." No, it doesn't.
absolutely not even a little bit.
No. I don't like, people want to believe that so badly, but you're right, that's why they are doing it, because they need to, because they don't want it to be so easy to put GameCube games on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's a deterrent. They want to also let other people know, like, hey, if you continue to go down this path to the point where you can monetize, like, we're gonna be there. We're gonna do stuff. It's a deterrent to let other people know that they're not just gonna let things, get away.
Yeah. So like, I get it, and it's well within their rights. I just hope it doesn't.
They're not putting GameCube games on Virtual Console. There's too much money in remaking them.
Yes.
There's so much more money in remastering them one at a time. You're talking about the difference between $1 million and tens of millions of dollars. Like, they're just gonna remake them.
Yeah. I just don't want Dolphin to go away.
Yeah, me too. Same. Because I gotta get Garrett to help me set up Wind Waker on my Ally. I've seen it. I've seen the light,
Ally.
Rebecca.
Oh my god, I'm making fun of you every time.
Why?
I'm gonna bully you.
There are people on YouTube playing Wind Waker on the Ally, and it's incredible.
Cool.
It's amazing. It's
Hack your
beautiful
Switch.
HD. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm bullying you. Okay. Shall we hit some of these quick headlines?
Yeah, let's do it.
Remember, we kept saying that Daemon X Machina should get a sequel?
I do. Yeah.
It was announced. Titanic Scion. Scion?
Scion.
How do you say that word? Scion?
Scion. I have no idea. No date, no year.
There's like too many words in this that are like not real words.
The title of the game is Daemon X Machina.
Titanic Scion. Okay. I will never remember that. Like,
No.
You can ask me 3 months from now what the sequel's called. I will never remember that title.
I'm wondering if this is even a game that comes out on Switch.
Was it not
like
announced
Switch
for
2?
Oh,
No, I'm thinking like it may not be out until the next thing is out.
gotcha.
Because they didn't release a date or a
maybe.
year. They're like, we're working on it, which could just
Did they
mean
even
like
show anything, or
exactly.
did they just say it's in
It
development?
was just the title. I think they
Yeah,
just
it's a while
committed
away.
to making it. The game could be 4 years from now.
Probably.
Let's see. How do you say it? J Rule?
Hyrule.
Hyrule? Nate?
Hyrule Knight.
Hyrule Knight. Ally is a new Steam Deck-like device that's coming from Asus. It's releasing in Best Buy in a couple of weeks. The difference between Steam Deck and it, though, is that it runs Windows, so it's like a laptop, versus the Steam Deck, which is Linux-based. So if you're not into Linux like me, but you're very fluent with Windows and can do stuff there, it's a really cool option. You should look into it. It's also stronger than Steam Deck.
Don't do it.
Why? Why do you have the resistance to this thing?
You're gonna sell it within 6 months.
Maybe. I think my track record proves that, but I don't think so. Not with this one. No, not with this one.
Okay. I hope it's fun.
Me too.
I just like making fun of you.
And I like when people do that too. I'm here for the good joke. It plays like crazy games. You play like Horizon at like 60 frames on a portable. It's like carrying a PS4 in your hand.
Does sound cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
I'll still get a Steam Deck next iteration of the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I think I think the Steam Deck is a really good still a really good option. I'm not putting the Steam Deck down. I didn't have the best experience with it. And the Steam Deck, again, we don't need to turn this into a Steam Deck versus Ally thing, but the Steam Deck doesn't play all your Steam games, right? It plays a subset of them that have been approved and all that. Whereas this is literally just a laptop. So whatever's on Steam can just run on it. I had some issues with that. There were several games I wanted to play, just did not play well on Steam Deck.
That's fair. They added Super Mario Advance 1, 2, and 3 to Nintendo Switch Online. It's the inferior versions of the SNES games if you want to, for some reason, play them on your GBA.
I never played them. John 32. Don't say that.
Yeah, it did.
Huh.
I'm just saying. Oh, it's back.
Good.
Pokemon Scarlet Violet connectivity is coming to Pokemon Home on May 30th. It was a little weird because they said that this connectivity was coming and then they released the date that it would be, I think it was today or tomorrow, that the home connectivity would be compatible with like the other. They said, what did they say? They said that there wasn't like a definitive day for it, and then they came back and said that they said it was, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw them. They were like, "Hey, we told you it was going to be out this day, and we're sorry, but that isn't the case. It'll be out later than that." And then they came out and they're like, "No, it's out this day."
So that's actually the day that it is?
I believe so.
Or was that referring to something else?
No, I think the first date was wrong, and the 30th is correct. The reason I'm going off of my Pokemon expert, Jack, who filled me in on this. This is why I put it in there. Because Jack wanted to get it. He was like, I'm going to get Pokemon Home, transfer my Pokemon.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. They originally said the 24th.
Right.
And then they said, we put the cart before the Mudsdale. It actually will not be the 24th. We'll keep you updated. And then it looks like they did say it will be, yeah. The night of the 29th. So the 30th will be when you can connect.
You can pay them for that. Still can't believe they're charging for it. 2, they charge as much as they do for it. 3, it's not included in NSO.
There's a free version. But it's, I know.
What a racket.
I know.
What a complete racket.
I'm probably not going to buy the DLC.
I think Jack was feeling it. So we ran into a fun thing. This came out. Jack saw it on YouTube or whatever. He started telling me about it. He's like, I'm going to transfer my Pokemon. I'm like, okay. And then I guess he discovered that he traded his game in at some point. So he didn't have the game anymore. And I was like, when did you do that? He's like, I don't know. I don't remember.
I thought you traded it in.
I didn't know. I would never trade in his book. So we have like a system. I would always buy 2 copies of game. I would play and then sell my copy.
Gotcha.
Jack would always keep his copy. I would never trade in his copy of the game unless he wanted something. So a lot of times he will trade it in if he wants something. Usually something dumb, like a pop figure or a Pokemon card pack or something like that. T-shirt. But yeah, apparently at some point in the past year, we took him to GameStop to get something and he completely forgot.
He can always get it again.
Yeah. That's what I told him.
Tears of the Kingdom has updated to version 1.1.2, which patched out a lot of the duplication glitches that people were using to get lots of items easily.
Bet that bothered a lot of people.
I have not yet updated my game,
Uh-oh.
so I can still do the duplication glitches if I so wish. I'm not saying I will. I'm not saying if I have or not.
Jack updated his, but he is doing a lot of that. I'm not, but he is. Jack has like 8 Hylian shields or whatever.
I don't even have one.
Yeah, he got it super early too. Like, honestly, the first 2 or 3 days we had it, Jack was like, "You want me to show you how to do it?" I was like, "No, I'm good." But like, he went to the castle, and apparently you can like, I get like zip up through a floor or something and just be in a room that just has one. Okay. It's really easy. I was like, "That's cool."
All right.
Like, I'm good. I have like 6 Wind Waker shields from my amiibo because I scan my amiibo every day, and I was like, "No, I'm good. Like, I don't need that shield. My shield's fine." But he's doing that stuff. Jack's all into like there's like a metaverse with this game, and Jack is all into it.
I've tried it and I've done a little bit of it. I don't want to make the game too easy.
He knows how to get the Master Sword and where all the
don't tell me how to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But like, he comes to me and he's like, "I can X." I'm like, "I'm good. I'm just over here playing, man. Go have fun."
I feel like everybody's experience is so different with this game.
Yeah. He's deep into like this YouTube channel that just shows you how to get everything. Here's how to
I want to figure out for myself.
Here's how to get all these armor sets. Here's how to do all the things.
Man.
Whereas I'm like casually on the edge of that, where I may see something across TikTok and I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah. I try not to find those things. I try to figure them out on my own. And then like, if I like want to do it and get stuck, then I look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I'll do that too. I'm not going to spend too much time breaking my brain trying to figure out something.
Yeah. There was a PlayStation showcase this past week that featured a lot of indies that will make their way to the Switch as well. And I feel like that was the best part of the showcase because it featured games. Are all of these from Devolver?
The ones that I listed, Neva and Plucky Squire being published by Devolver. Weird West wasn't in the showcase, but it was announced. Weird West Definitive Edition from Devolver's coming to Switch.
Okay, wait. Is it... How do you say the first one?
Neva.
That one, is that the one that is by the makers of Gris?
It is.
Oh, yep. I love that game.
Day one.
Yeah, I will definitely be picking that one up. And then Plucky Squire. As soon as I saw that game.
Day one. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. That looks like that's going to be so good. It's by James Turner, who made a lot of the Pokemon designs. He is such a good artist. He has such good creative vision. I can't wait for that game. And then I don't know, what's Weird West? What is that?
It's like this top-down cowboy western. I want to say RPG. I'm not sure if that's the best way of describing it, but this was one of those games. We did a podcast a while ago where somebody asked us like, what was going to come out for it's a Weird West is a top-down action role-playing game. I nailed it with immersive sim elements. Remember, we had somebody ask us about like, what we saw coming out for like the next year Switch or whatever. And one of the things that I said is, I think we're going to start getting some ports. This was one of those games that I thought, I was like, I think we're going to get Stray. I think Weird West. I was like, I think we're going to start to get some of these like middle tier ports find their way to Switch, which is what I would kind of describe with this one. That's why it popped up in my head, because I've been expecting some of this, and I expect we'll get a little bit more as time goes on. I think we'll get some more. But these games, I think, were confirmed coming to Switch. The Sword of the Sea, which is like my star of the showcase, no idea. I think that's still at the moment PS5, PC only at the moment. But that's from the makers of Journey.
Oh, okay. I feel like for me, besides Tears of the Kingdom, indies are going to carry this year for me.
Yeah, strong.
I'm so excited for many indies that are coming out this year.
And we still got Pikmin, and I'm starting to come around more and more to the idea that there's a Mario game there somewhere. It's like there's some stuff. but we're going to be playing Zelda for the next 4 months, and then they're going to announce a DLC, and we're going to be planning to play that. So, yeah.
So true.
Right.
And then the last little thing that I stuck in here, the producer for Live Alive is open to a sequel. He said, if the Steam and PlayStation editions of the game sell 1 million copies, then I would feel very confident in proposing a Live Alive 2 to Square Enix. This is from Takashi Tokita. Guys, go buy Live Alive. This is my regular reminder that back when the game was coming out and you said, oh, I'll get it after I'm Xenoblade. You're done, Xenoblade. You need a break from Zelda. Go buy it. Buy it on Steam or PlayStation now instead of the Switch so that they will sell 1 million copies and come up with a Live Alive 2.
Do you think it'll
I
reach
know you
that?
haven't played it yet. I know you haven't bought it yet. Go do it. I will probably rebuy it on Steam or something just to...
Do you think it's got 1 million in it? I don't know how popular.
That's why I'm telling people to buy it.
I wonder how many it sold on Switch.
Probably not 1 million.
It sold 500,000 units worldwide upon release.
I need people to buy this game.
That's not too bad. But yeah, if it only sold 500,000 on release, I doubt it's going to move that on PC and PlayStation.
Buy it. Buy it. Do it. That's it for the news.
Good times. All right, well, let's get into some questions, of which we got a lot. Thank you, guys. I can't see. Question for the show. I often forget to use my map and scope beacons when I'm on a quest. When I find stuff that are needed in the works, like cooking pots, building supplies, etc. But maybe because I struggled with Breath of the Wild and I don't have to add them in other open world games. Maybe they don't push it enough like they have before. Are there any helpful resources that you forget to use in Tears of the Kingdom?
For the longest time, and still sometimes, would constantly forget that Ascend exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm trying to climb something, and it's like, oh wait, I can just hit Ascend.
Yeah, yeah, just like me. Like, what am I doing? I can fly.
Yeah.
I really like the approach of the question here because I think they could have done beacons better. I think when you if you've unearthed, if you've discovered something on your map, like if you know where something is, like I've seen this shrine, I think when you open your map, like if you were to click on it or to click on it, I think you should just be able to drop a pin, right? It should ask you, or if you select if you select a side quest or a mission from your objectives, it should ask you hey, do you want to drop a beacon here? It should prompt you to do that.
What? If you select it from your adventure log, it will put an icon for you.
It does the thing, right? But not a beacon.
So you can't see it through your sheet.
I think the issue with I can't see, I think what he's trying to describe, maybe I just got it wrong, but I think what he's trying to say is, yeah, I can drop an icon on the map, but I can't see it in the world. I'm wondering if you should be able to always have a main marker beacon that your current objective is set to, so you can see it while you're running around. That's the difference between Breath of the Wild and what most open world games do is they put an icon out to direct you as you're traveling through the world. Breath of the Wild was pretty revolutionary in that it didn't. They made you go find it. That's a part of the gameplay loop. They want you to discover it.
Maybe that's why it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either. But when he asked the question, I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, I think maybe just an active beacon. We have our extra beacons that we can drop, but whatever your active quest is, maybe having those icons, where they put the icons on the map, maybe having a gold beacon that you can see from your paraglider or something to just give you a little extra directive.
Why don't you just put a beacon where that quest is?
That's what I told him when he asked in the Discord. That was my. It's you just put a beacon there, but I think it's worth bringing up because if you're not used to it, right? If you don't speak this Breath of the Wild language, I could see this being a little what? It's confusing. I understand that a little.
Okay, that's fair.
But like every game, you just got to get more and more used to it. You gotta there's a lot to wrap your arms around, and these two Zelda games definitely are that. You know, like this isn't like I'm not going to think very hard, play Zelda game. Like, no. There's a lot going on here. You need to kind of understand all of its different systems and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drew says, Donnie, is Metal Gear coming to Switch? And Drew, I've got good news for you. It absolutely is coming to Switch. 1000%. One, because I said it was, because I guessed it. I was so happy. There are very few times I'm like, I told you so. But this one I'm like really, really happy to take a victory lap on, because I feel like I've been willing this into existence for like 2 years since the rumor came out.
Was it announced for Switch?
No, but they announced a classic collection. Konami is making a classic collection of Metal Gears coming out this fall, and they have to put it on Switch. One, it's a classic.
What if it's cloud version?
Oh God, don't do that to me. The reason that I say it's absolutely happening is because Konami, all of Konami's stuff has been on Switch, right? Turtles was on Switch, Bomberman's on Switch, the Castlevania collection, like there are two of them. There's the Castlevania collection and the Advance collection. Yeah. And there's like another, they have like a Sega minigame set for just Konami stuff too, I think, like an arcade collection. All of that stuff is on Switch. And in Japan, Switch dominates the charts. It's not even close. I was just looking at this the other day. Like 45 of the top 50 selling games in the Japan market are all Switch games. It's just portable. So I think I would be amazed if they were like, yeah, no, these are only console games. I think the reason that you port these games, because do you do much Metal Gear?
No, never.
Okay. So in the last couple years, Konami delisted all of their games from everywhere. Like when this generation, like in this generation, in like 2016, you could log on to the Xbox store, Steam, you could buy Metal Gear and just play it. Old ones, but you could still buy them. They delisted everything.
Ouch.
So when there's
I hate when they do that.
When the rumor came up that they were going to remake the game, it's been a couple years now. That's when I started connecting that dot. I was like, wait a minute. They delisted everything. They're going to come back with a remake. Oh, they're going to re-release another collection. Like that's what this means. And I think the only reason you do this is to port them, and you've got to put them on Switch, right?
Yeah.
You've got to. You're just leaving way too much money. You're leaving way too much money on the table for a project like this. So, yeah, I think they're coming to Switch. My question is, are they coming? Is it digital only? That's my question. Do they do a physical release, or is it digital only? So, Castlevania was physical. I've got my physical copies for Castlevania. I'm very excited to go back to Metal Gear. For anybody that doesn't know, the Metal Gear Master Collection is what they called it. Volume 1 will include Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. And then they just announced it'll also include Metal Gear 1 and 2 from NES. So you get 5 games.
That's a good collection.
Snake is in Smash. There is no Metal Gear on Wii U, on Wii, or Switch. Like they've got to put they've got to put it on Switch.
Yeah.
If they don't put it on Switch, I'm gonna be so mad.
I hope for the best for you, Donnie.
But yeah, I'm very excited. Can't wait to replay some Metal Gear. Been jonesing for it for a while. I
probably won't try it, but I'm happy for the people who like it.
Crazy story, really funny story. West 3DP says, "Where's Zelda?"
She went out to get milk and never came back.
That's good. It is on the 3DS. You're right. We did get Metal Gear Solid 3 for 3DS. That's the last time I played that game. Kyle the Pug says, since we're in the last remaining days of Mental Health Month, what are the ways you improve your mental health? For me, whenever I'm down, I listen to white noise to not only help me fall asleep, but also to help me breathe better.
I recently, a couple weeks ago, did a podcast about mental health with content creation with Laughing Boy LP and Josh Jepson, and it was a really good discussion. And I know not everybody listening to this creates content, but just the the burnout is so easy when you're doing so much, and it's like trying to make sure that you're still enjoying games while you're creating content for games. But even just like outside of content creation, like it is so important to take care of your mental health and, make sure you have good habits. I like that listening to the white noise helps him fall asleep. That's really good. For me, journaling helps. Making sure I sleep enough helps. Making sure I'm talking to people helps. It's whatever works for you. It's important that you stick with it.
Solid. Yeah, I mean, I know over the years it's a commitment. That was the thing I used to always say, when you accept the position of being on a podcast, it may seem really easy up front, something you can jump into. As Rebecca knows, I think when we decided to redo Shaq, I was pretty adamant on checking in with you and like, are you sure we can do this? Because you're making a commitment, an indefinite commitment. And it's real easy to do that for 10 episodes. It's a whole different thing to commit to doing that for 100 episodes, 200, because that's what you're doing, right? Like your podcast, I've always felt like podcasts are not particularly successful. You'll never really find a community if you're not consistent, right? Like consistency is what I think most people search for in their podcast. They get into a rhythm of when they know they're going to listen to that podcast every week, every other week, every month, whatever it is, but they get into that rhythm and it's hard to break it. But for me, I don't know. When I get really, honestly, podcasting is a big part of improving my mental health. It is kind of my social outlet. I don't go out. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't do activities with others. Podcasting is kind of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scheduled hangout with my friends every week. So if you can tell, you may not be able to tell because you don't see me outside of my podcast, but you may not believe this, but I'm pretty crass, brash, blunt individual. I typically really enjoy like peace and silence, and I totally sit in my basement and talk to anybody for days. That's not unheard of at all to my family or to my friends that know me. They just know I'm that way. So like the bubbly, here I am talking, smiling, joking, like that is almost reserved for just the podcast. Like that's about as much of that social energy as I have, and it'll drain me. Like especially when we would do a lot, or when I was doing a lot, I would get completely drained. Like if we were doing E3 and I'm just on air for 3 days,
it's a lot.
My God, I need like a week off, like just to recoup.
I feel like I'm very similar to you. Like this is like podcasting and streaming and stuff is like the social interaction for me a lot of the times. Like I see friends and stuff, but like this is the only consistent thing that I really do, and it always puts me in a good mood afterwards, because I feel like what other time do I get to sit down and talk to somebody about video games for 2 hours straight?
Yep.
And like it is good for my mental health, and I hope that people who listen to this podcast, like maybe I hope that there are some people who listening to this each week, it's part of their mental health routine that they just like take some time to themselves and like listen to something they enjoy. Maybe they listen while they're playing games or getting housework done, things like that. So, I think it's important to make sure you take care of your brain. It's the only one you have.
Yep. So yeah, when I'm particularly stressed at like work or something, I crave a podcast night. Like there are especially weeks where I'm having a rough week, where I'm like, I gotta get to Wednesday. I gotta get to Sunday morning. Like that, it helps me keep going. Outside of that, I wash my car. That's my therapy. Yeah, I love washing my car.
Come wash my car. It is so dirty. There's so much pollen on it right now. Come wash my car, please. I'm begging.
I have my wife calls it my potion shelf. I have a whole shelf in my garage dedicated to car care products. I probably got 100 bottles of different waxes and polishes and soaps, and I've got foam cannons and guns. So yeah, when I'm feeling particularly stressed, I'll go out, get some sun and just put in my AirPods, chill to some music, and wash my car. And the reason I say that is this. You were talking about making sure you're having fun while you're making games, while you're making content. So my shop loves the work that I do to my car when it comes on the detail side, because you go to shows and stuff. They're like, you're really good at it. They have started to recommend me to other folks to detail their cars. They're like, he's amazing at it. You should have him do it. And I've turned them all down because I don't want my hobby, my therapy to
Right.
turn into work.
That's
to-
definitely something to think about.
I've had to tell them that. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I appreciate it. I'm flattered. Like, thank you. I was like, but I do this for peace. Like, this is my escape. This is how I think about things. Like, I'll go out there and just really churn on my thoughts or calm down if I'm particularly heated. And it's like, I don't want to turn that into work. Just like I don't want to turn going into car shows and stuff into content. You know, I had folks that are asking me like, why don't you take videos and do it? Like, that's the last thing I need is another show. I just want to exist. Like, I just want to go and be there. I don't have to document it. I don't have to turn on the personality.
I'm definitely conscientious of that when I'm streaming and writing for Twinfinite. Like, I have thought about going into that as like, you know, like changing careers and doing that like for more of a career than
Sure.
it is. But I do it because I like it. I don't want it to be a career. I want it, you know, the fact that I'm able to make money doing it is just a bonus. I like doing it. Like, I do it because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to be like a stressful thing. Like, I don't think I would enjoy it as much if I had to rely on it for income.
I think that's a really mature, smart way of looking at it. Now, I'll speak for all of your followers. I mean, we all know you're a superstar. You could do it if you wanted to, but it would be different. There's no changing that. If you did it for a job, if you had to depend on it to pay the bills, it's different.
Yeah.
Right. Like right now it's still fun and jovial. And if you don't do it, you don't do it. And you're like, there's nothing really lost. It's different when it is your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
different. For sure.
Good question. Thanks, Kyle. Canadian Crawler writes in, how do you feel about using dupe glitches in a single player game?
I see people saying like, you're cheating, you know.
Hang on.
You shouldn't be.
Yarden is the same question. Are the people who use the Tears of the Kingdom dupe glitch going to hell?
You are, Yarden, but nobody else would know. It's a single player game. I have no problem if you exploit whatever the heck you want in your single player game experience. I don't care if you're not experiencing it the right way. There's no right way to experience a single player game. Like, this is your game. It is not bothering anybody else. I only care if it is a multiplayer game or you're lessening the experience for somebody else.
I think that's a really well said answer. Nailed it. Yeah, because I don't care if you're cheating or using glitches or using Game Genie or Game Shark. Who gives a shit?
Don't care. Don't come into Splatoon and have hacked gear and
that's different.
It's gonna like auto aim and stuff. Like, don't.
If you're doing competitive multiplayer, that's different. That's cheating because it's competition.
If it's just online casual multiplayer, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah, that's not cool. But yeah, with this, it's totally fine.
If it's single player Zelda and you want to hack in all of the amiibo gear, or I don't even think that's a glitch, but if that were a glitch, I wouldn't care if you did it. I don't care if you dupe 1,000,000 diamonds.
Didn't the Tears of the Kingdom dev interview? Didn't they say something like cheating is kind of fun? They were talking about like all the different abilities and stuff that you can use, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of fun to like figure out how to break the game. You know, like
breaking the game and cheating is different.
Well, yeah, but I think they're in the sense of this dupe glitch. I think they're probably more similar than that. Because here's the thing: nobody's like breaking into the game. They're not like recoding a mod or anything like that. This just exists in the game. They're just taking advantage of the game designer. You know, like speed runs and everything else under the sun has used tactics like this since the days of video games.
Yeah, I think that's two separate things, though. That's not exploiting glitches. Like, this dupe.
I think if you're just exploiting the game, like what's there in the game, it's totally free reign.
Sure.
I think it's totally fine if you do mods, but like I was thinking of it like if you had to build an appliance like on Steam or something, like a mod to like, you know, I don't know, give you infinite stamina or something. That's completely different than, if you just, you know, jump and pause and spin around and backflip, you get to duplicate an item. It's like, that's just in the game.
I disagree. I think they're like, mods, I'm totally, again, if it's single player, I don't care. There are mods for Stardew Valley that make the game however you want it to be. Like, there are mods that make it so that your plants auto water themselves. There are mods that let you have a bunch of money to start off with.
That we agree on.
Like,
I
that's
could
fine.
hang on. I think I can word this better.
Okay.
It's not like people are hacking the game code to make themselves invincible. Like, you still have to go, like, okay, you get to duplicate items. So Jack has 8 shields. He still has to play the game,
Yeah.
right?
I wouldn't
Now,
care
I'm
if
with
they did.
you. I'm with
I
you.
wouldn't care if they hacked the
I'm with
game.
you there. That's where we agree.
Okay.
Who cares? I don't care at all what you do to your game. You play games however you want, however it makes you happy. I could care less.
Then okay. So we agree.
Yeah, we agree. I guess I was trying to paint a picture that there's like a sliding scale, that this isn't nearly as bad as, like, you know, somebody like making themselves in God mode, like literally like hacking the game to, like, you know, like, that's not what people are doing with Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, right?
No.
They're just duplicating items. Like, so you have multiple swords and stuff.
But I'm saying I wouldn't care if people hack to go God mode and make it invincible. Like, if you want to do that, go for it. It's not hurting me. If
I agree with you there.
Enjoy the experience, do it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just think, again, there's different levels. I think this is
that's fine.
This is totally fine. It's just in the game.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, they patch it out, right? Somebody will come up with something else. It's the nature of this game with this systems and all this stuff. They'll find something. You know, they'll be doing this. They were still doing it with Breath of the Wild for years. How many anecdotes or tweets or stories or vids did we share being like, holy crap, I didn't know somebody could do X, Y, and Z in Breath of the Wild. We were doing that for years afterwards. You know, like, they'll find something else. It's not like they just fixed it. They didn't just turn it off. They just fixed the things that people found. There's probably way more to be found.
I'm sure people will be finding stuff for years.
But I hope they don't go. I hope they don't go to Heljarden, because my son's doing it, and he's having a blast. He's actually having a time of his life. He's having so much fun with it.
Good, and that's his experience, and he should have the most fun that he wants to have.
Yeah, yeah. Yarden says, also, please talk about foam stars.
That's the Splatoon clone. People were really making fun of how Sony is making a Wii U-like device and a Splatoon clone.
Splatoon-like game. That is good.
I actually didn't see any of the trailers for this. I love Splatoon. When it comes out, if it's good, I'll try it. I don't care. Like, it looks like Splatoon without the charm.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'll try it.
I think it looked terrible. Like, I'm one of those people. This was
maybe it looked. I don't know. I didn't see it.
100% the lowest point of that showcase for me. And I was like, this is
you don't
awful.
like Splatoon.
And I hate Square Enix. It's like all from like around the board. So I'm like, it looks like Square Enix tried to make a Splatoon game, and that should tell you all you need to know about what they.
I like Square Enix, and I like Splatoon.
Ugh, I don't like Square.
G-Man says it looks great, so.
Oh, it does not.
I'll reserve my judgment.
It's Bubble Bath Splatoon. What? It looks great? Absolutely doesn't. No, it does not.
I should check it out. I haven't seen it.
Oof.
I only heard about it.
Jay, which franchise is the biggest miss on Switch? Madden, Call of Duty, or Grand Theft Auto? Grand Theft Auto's on Switch.
It is?
Yeah, they put the Trilogy Collection on it. You can play Vice City and San Andreas.
Didn't it suck?
Oh, it was completely busted and broken, yeah.
So that's 100%. A miss.
Okay, all right. I mean, like, at least it's there. The other ones didn't even swing. Yeah, I mean, probably Grand Theft Auto. It's the juggernaut. And I think he may follow up with a tweet after he hears this podcast. He might be talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. But just to make an argument, I'll say Madden.
Okay, that would have been my last choice.
I know, and that's why I want to say it, because video game circles are real quick and easy to do sports games, and they are huge, popular things. And by not having sports at all, you are just not appealing to a huge segment of actual video game consumers. They may not be on Twitter, and they may not be, having YouTube channels about it, but Madden and NBA 2K and stuff like that are huge. And Madden in particular, There's like no football games on Switch at all. Like in that style. So that would probably be my guess. It's so popular. NFL is huge.
Breaking my heart.
And I do think it's, because they do FIFA, and they put FIFA on Switch, but just not Madden, and that's kind of bizarre. It's a little weird. Anyway, Jules.
That is a good one. I've definitely blown myself up many times.
I fused myself to an exploding barrel, thinking I could block and I'd be safe, and it was not safe.
Ouch.
They hit me, and we just killed each other. It was like a kamikaze attack.
I have thought I was making like a bridge or something and like launched myself over the side by mistake, just like missing jumps or like random Looney Tunes type of things where I think something's going to work and then it doesn't. I don't know. I don't have a good example.
So I have this glide armor that I really, really like. And I had to do all these challenges to get it, and then I had to level it all up. The coolest thing about this glide armor is that, one, it lets you glide like fast, like in terms of changing directions, like your glider, like it actually lets you glide fast. Two, I don't take fall damage when I have it on. I can just zip right to the ground and I'm totally fine. Yeah. Which
really?
Is it's a huge benefit to having it. Yeah. So I say that to say this. I've died so many times because I've gotten used to always having my glide armor on. Like when I went to the Zora land and I had the Zora armor on and I flew up a waterfall and crash and nosedive into it and die. I'm like, oh, I forgot I didn't have my armor on.
Okay. I see that.
So that's happened several times. You get used to it and you forget about it. I always have to remember to re-equip my glide armor. But yeah, that's been one of the spoilers, the things we've been talking about in our spoilers channel is again on TikTok, and I went and did it. And I was like, I absolutely love this armor. I'm going to keep using it.
I have the mask, but I don't have anything else.
So the challenges that you have to do to get them?
I only did the mask challenge.
Yeah, there's more of them. You just got to keep doing those. Yeah.
Wait, it's the same one? I just have to do it faster?
No, there are other islands like that that you'll see, and you got to do those. That's how you get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Dawn Rob. What is one shrine in Tears of the Kingdom that you didn't beat the right way?
Most of them.
Really? Most?
Most of them.
Wow.
Yes.
Like
one of them I walked into and I said, what the hell? I have no idea what's going on here. But there was some water. So I built about like 12 or 13 ice blocks in the water, and I fused them all together and made a ladder and scaled the wall over to the other side and collected my light blessing.
Nice. And that works.
It worked.
He said, I did one with a stabilizer. I think you were supposed to do the catapult thing across the chasm, but I just made a tall tower and jumped across. And it was wrong because using everything, I barely made it. I did that too. I actually think we probably did the same one. I know the one I think I know what you're talking about. There is one where you are supposed to build a catapult and launch yourself across this big gap, this space. And I think I talked about on the show. What I did is I connected all the things and I suspended it. I rewinded it in time to make it just stand straight up. And then I just climbed it. I just climbed to the top of it and jumped off.
Yeah.
I was like, who's got time for this? I'm not doing all this.
Also, recall is so broken. You can cheese so many shrines with recall. There was something where I had to get a ball somewhere, I don't know, but I just took the ball and I like raised it up with my ultra hand and kept it there for a couple minutes, and then I climbed the ladder. I dropped it and then I climbed the ladder, and then while it was floating I just grabbed it because it was like under recall. So, nice. And then I was like able to get it. So recall, you can do so many things with it. It is so OP.
I've had to do a few. I'm trying to remember. There's a really cool shrine where you have to basically deploy an army of bots to fight for you. Right? Like you activate all these bots. It's kind of like battle bots, and then they go off and they attack all the things that are in the.
I have not seen that.
Yeah. And one of the things that you build these bots, you can attach stuff to them, but one of the things that they have is like this spiky, I don't know, like I would call it a shield, but like a wall with spikes on it. Almost like think of it like on the front of a bulldozer, like it's just got spikes. So instead of attaching to the battle bot, I just used it like I use magnesis, and I just like lifted it up and just started hitting people with the spikes, because I could keep it far away from me. So I just started hammering them with the spikes, and I killed like 4 of them. Which made it a lot easier. I was like, I'm pretty sure I wasn't probably supposed to do that, but I was like, I'll just do this anyway.
It's good.
And then, yeah, I mean, it doesn't count for the shrine part of it, but yeah, me just flying to the top of the temple, I think.
I need to make that flying like
write
that
that down.
About.
Yeah. I'm wondering if more of the temples are in the sky like this. I'm like, is this a thing that I'm just going to do for the rest of the game? Just keep flying? Like,
okay,
I don't have time to climb all this.
That's what I do with the rockets. What I saw somebody yesterday do that this blew my mind, and now I have to do it, was they attached, it was like pieces of wood or something to their bow and arrow and launched it across the river, and then went and attached the Korok to it, and then used the recall on that to get the Korok to the other side of the river. Nice.
Yeah.
Like, that blew my mind. Like, you are obviously not supposed to do it that way.
That's good. That's
but
real
good.
Yeah.
It works.
That's real
so good.
I think if there's more. I feel like I've got another one, but no. Thought I had another one. I was remembering something, and
I'm sure there's
forgot
lots that we'll be talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Okay, I remember now. There are shrines where you have to pick up a green diamond thing and deliver it to the shrine.
Yeah, those can be so annoying.
And they're typically in the sky, but not always. And yeah, I had to get this diamond off of the island to the other island. And the other island,
I know which one you're talking about, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Tell me.
So what I looked up the way you're supposed to do it, and I just did it wrong. So there are like these floating installations around, and I think you're supposed to like attach rockets and stuff to it to like you put the rock on the floaty thing, and then you do the rockets or the fans or whatever to make the floaty thing get to the other island. Here's what I did. I built basically like a shotgun. I built like a ramp, right? And then I because there were a lot of springs around. I just killed this construct. If anybody out there is wondering what it was, I just killed the construct. I aimed it at the island. I set it off, and I just shot the diamond in that direction. And it took me a couple tries. The first one, I shot it over. And by the second one, it did. And it landed up there. It hit something and stopped.
So good.
And I just flew up there. I was like, all right, now I'm good. And I got on my bike and
wow. Okay.
Because I didn't want to use. I looked up it afterwards because I was like, this is absolutely not how you're supposed to do this. And you were supposed to like connect rockets and stuff to like the different floating islands. And I didn't want to use all my rockets. I had like 8 rockets. I was like, no, I don't want to do this right now. So I took a screenshot in the split chat. I was like, this is ridiculous.
I feel like some of our solutions are way more convoluted than whatever is intended.
Yeah, you were completely over-engineering a problem.
It works for us.
Because I tried it with like, I was like, all right, I'll use like 3 springs and see how, and it barely went anywhere. Like it just launched the rock like just off the island. It just fell to the earth. I was like, oh, that didn't work. Yeah. So I was like, all right, we need to make the ramp longer, taller, and more springs. I just kept adding. And it was basically a shotgun. I just set it off. It was like, woof.
Nice.
That was fun. I felt accomplished. I was like, look at that. This one's for Rebecca from Kern. Our Kern. Was the weekend of Taylor and Zelda the best weekend ever?
Yes.
Also, how was Taylor for real?
Amazing. She's perfect.
Was it worth the price?
Absolutely.
Were your seats good?
Yes.
Solid. My wife was so
I talked
jealous
about
of
it a
you.
lot on the PSVG podcast, and I've talked about it on my stream and stuff, and I tweeted pictures and stuff. But yeah, it was like a magical weekend with my favorite game series, the new big game, and seeing Taylor. She's my favorite person. And everything about that weekend was just so much fun. And I had mentioned this on PSVG, but I went on Mother's Day with my mom, and she played the song "The Best Day," which is a song that she wrote for her mom. And so it was just really special. And it was really fun. It was the 5th tour of hers that I've gone to. So I've seen her last before.
Wow.
And this was a really awesome concert, just with like the production value and like playing songs from every era, and like just everything was so good.
My wife
The
was so
outfit
jealous.
changes and her backup dancers, and I loved every part of it.
I told her you were going. She's so badly. She had like this fantasy in her head that I was just going to surprise her with tickets.
It was really hard to get tickets.
I was like, yeah, you and everyone else in the city.
Yeah. There were thousands of people outside of the stadium listening.
She wanted me to call the CEO. She's like, don't you know those people? Can't you just like... I'm like, yeah, I can, but no, I'm not going to do that. John 32 has your Tears of the Kingdom opinions changed after another week of play?
Yes, I love it more.
He says, are you still regularly surprised by your discoveries?
Yes.
Yes, definitely yes to the last part. Like I'm not, I guess not shocked, but yeah, I'm still surprised that as many hours into the game, I feel like I'm still not just discovering like a thing, like an instance of something, but entire systems of stuff. It's still kind of like, it's a little bit bigger than that.
I feel like I still have a lot of story stuff to discover. I've barely made a dent in that part.
Yeah. He says, also, is it wrong to drop the rock on top of the Korok's head when you discover one under a rock?
Absolutely. He
I
says,
do that.
ouch.
I do that all the time. Oof.
It's so sad. Oof. Ouch.
Yeah,
Protect
my
the
opinion changed. Yeah, I think it's changed for the better. I think when I first started playing it, I think I was noticing a lot more. By the way, we didn't talk about it. The Zoro domain just ran really poorly for me on my end.
Really?
Real choppy, real framey. Like I'm not sure if it's the water physics or whatever, but yeah, like more so than the rest of the game, like more so noticeably different. But the first part of the game, I was just kind of wrapped my head, and I was really trying to get. I felt like I had a really strong learning curve with juggling the different abilities and how to use them and all. And I'm getting more accustomed to them. I still don't like some of the things, like it wouldn't have been my choice. Like I keep bringing up the arrows to be like an objective about that. But the more I play about it, the more that those little like quips mean less to me. It's just that I'm finding other ways of like just not using them, not relying them, I think, on as much. I definitely don't think, are you using your bow and arrow a lot?
All the time. I am
Okay.
not like, I'm so low on arrows, way more than I was in Breath of the Wild. Just because I love using stuff to my arrows.
I have like, yeah, I'm the different. I have like 300 arrows that I just don't use. Like, because I think I've gotten to the point now where I've gotten strong enough to now I'm just like, all right, let's get some. Like I'm walking up.
Bow. I love long range weapon.
I do too. I wish the fusing and all that was. I think it's because of that I'm not using it as much, to be honest. Because like the bow and arrow,
that I'm using it more.
The bow and arrow on its own isn't very powerful. I may use it to stun something, but like it's just so I can get in close.
Really, I use like the fire fruit arrows, the bomb arrows, the ones that freeze enemies, the one that dazzles them, the ones where you attach the monster part to it and it does like extra damage.
Yeah. I'm not.
I use a little Keese eyeball for the ones that are flying, so I don't need perfect aim.
I used it a little bit. I just don't like having to sift through all of it every time I'm trying to do stuff. Yeah. Like in the caves, I'll use the bombs just to like blow up walls, because it's just right there. But yeah, the other stuff, I'm not doing that a whole lot. Where I am doing that a lot on weapons. Like I've got weapons for everything. I've got weapons. I've got ruby weapons. I've got opal weapons. I've got jelly weapon. I got weapons that make me cold or make me. The opal stuff is great in the temple. Did you use that?
No.
So when you fuse an opal to like a sword and you swing it, it like shoots a water ball, and it'll clean
I
up
didn't
like
know
all that gunk and stuff. So I was just like Mario Sunshine in my way around that bad boy, just like so
That's funny.
yeah, and like the ruby does fire. I was in a cave where all this ice was around, and I have a ruby stick, and I just put my ruby stick on and
Didn't know that.
yeah, and I went and stood next to the ice and
Wait,
let
I
everything
think I did know
melt.
that because I had a sapphire, some kind of sapphire weapon that I picked up from an enemy, and it was ice, I think.
Yeah. So the same way that you use your arrows, you can apply the same things to your weapons and shields.
Okay,
So I'm doing that more on that and less on the arrows.
I see.
So, but it doesn't. While I don't like the arrow thing, it just doesn't matter to me as much anymore. It's like I've engineered or progressed out of it. So now I'm not like, oh, I really hate that I have to keep doing this. Now I just don't do it. So
It's fair.
I think for the game overall, I think I'm digging it because of that. Also, while I'm here, because it just hit my brain, this is how my brain works, firing synapses. I found a Reddit thread that had like a recommendations for LG TVs on settings that I followed, and it makes the game look that much better for me. Like the game looks really, really damn good on my TV at the moment. Basically, if anybody out there has the LG C1 and C2 or CX, basically I turned like all of their black level stuff that they usually have, like automatic, I turned it all the way down, basically, because it like any of that backlighting stuff on these, apparently like they really add a lot of like white sheen, like a washout to the picture and the colors. So it's just like super dark and contrasty, but really vibrant and colorful. And I'm digging it. Our last question comes from Al. Which power would you like to have most in Tears of the Kingdom? Wall Link from Link Between Worlds, Sheikah Slate bombs, the ability to go down through the floor, auto jumping like an Ocarina of Time.
What's auto jumping?
So I was going to ask you about this because I feel like I'm conditioned to this. When you just run off of an edge, like Link used to just do a jump.
Oh.
And I still do that sometimes. Like I notice that I will go run and like I'm expecting him to jump and then I don't jump and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
But the ability to go down would probably be my pick. I would love.
I was going to pick one of those too, just because of the convenience of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the auto jumping would just be a nice quality of life thing. It doesn't feel like a power to me or an ability, but like a reverse ascent, like a descend.
The descend would be cool because you could just be on the surface and plop right down into the depths. Or
that would be cool.
You hop on top of a mountain, you pop into a cave.
The cave.
Or if the cave has multiple systems, you can go up and you can go down. Yeah.
I feel like it would be more limited, I guess, because you don't know where you could do it, so you would have to like see. But I would like that.
Yeah. Same. That'd be good. Well, that's it. As Annabelle makes her way to my desk. Sweet girl.
I'm playing more Zelda today and tomorrow. Doing some Memorial Day barbecuing. What about you? Anything?
No. It's a funny subject. So I have a cousin who invites me constantly to family function. I just never go. She's invited me for years and I just don't go. And she's having
That's nice that she continues to invite you though.
She has a family and friends, I should say, Memorial Day party tomorrow. And my wife, like, she was like, "Hey, did you see?" And I was like, "Don't. Why even ask?" No, I don't want to go to that. Do you want to go to that? And she's like, I think it's one of the things she thinks she does.
To go do something.
No, she thinks she does, and then we do it, and then she hates it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. But no, I don't have any plans. I should though. When you're like, we should cook out. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should go get like something to cook.
Go get some dogs, burgers.
I hadn't really thought about it a whole lot. I don't know if we have any special plans, but if we don't, I'm gonna go find some. I'll go to the store and I'll get something nice. We should have something cool.
Yeah. Why not?
She is bored. Gee, man, she needs her own video games. She needs to read or something. We gotta get her a hobby. She needs to go do something. I'm like, you need fun. Like, we need friends, and you can go out and margaritas or something.
She'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is going to do it for this week. We'll see what Zelda shenanigans we get up to this week, and we'll talk about it next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, I'm sure.
Zelda cast.
Get used to it. I think the next game that I'm getting is the Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life remake. I'm pretty excited for that, actually. I'll take a break from Zelda to play that.
When is it?
I pre-ordered it. It's June something.
Okay. So it's soon.
Yeah, it's next month.
I don't really have anything. I mean, when I get my Ally,
June 27th.
I'll play some stuff on my Ally just because it's new, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm planning to play anything until Pikmin. I still might be playing Zelda by then.
That's fair.
You know, so like I'm not even like, yeah, Zelda, Pikmin could just sit there for a while. I don't know. There's a part of you that wonders. I'm wondering if, like, because I've done so much grinding, that like when I set my sights to like do the story, I may just like fly through it. I'm hoping there's a lot there. It seems like there's a lot more there. Yeah, I think there's a lot there. Like, we're not. I guess the question, and you don't have to ask. You don't have to answer. But as I look at the map, I'm like, I'm not going to complete these 2 dungeons and go fight Ganon, am I? Well, there's got to be something else there after I complete these dungeons. There's got to be more to it than that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm just asking, like, that's kind of where my headspace is. I'm like, there's got to be a little bit more to it than that, I think.
It's more mandatory content than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just felt like this game feels so grand and epic. Like, I don't even know where the Master Sword is. I came across like a stone that said something about a sword had been moved, and I was like, oh shit. You know, so I'm assuming there's like a whole quest to find that. Like, I'm assuming there's more. There's a little bit more here than that, but we'll find out. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Like, it's hard for me to complain about wanting more of a game I've already played for so many damn hours. But we'll find out. Exactly. We'll find out.
We will find out. I hope we stay at a similar pace, because that'll be fun each week to talk about if we do.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Games Done Quick starts today. Summer Games Done Quick. So if you like speed runs and charity, go check it out. I'm going to have it on probably for as long as I can.
Nice.
And otherwise, we will see you next week, Koopalings. Have a good start to your week. Have a good Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?